Okay, so here we are live once again with another action figure unboxing. Sorry, I didn't do a whole lot last week. I think I only did like one video, but work's been kicking my ass lately. I've been really tired, so I've been resting a lot. But I've got a lot of action figures I've got to open. I got a lot of stuff coming in this week. I got a lot of stuff that I got in this week anyway. I got three three new Batman 66 figures. I've got the Bookworm, I've got Space Batman, and I've got Nightwing. I have two of these 12-inch figures. I have Batman and I have the Joker. So I'll be opening the Joker tomorrow. I finally got around to picking up Big Boa for the G.I. Joe line. So we got a lot of cool stuff to go over. So I gotta make sure I do a video every day this week. So technically it's Tuesday now, but it's still Monday for me because I hadn't slept. No, wait, it's Wednesday now. Boy, I'm out of it. Okay, like I said, been kind of tired. So this is from the Batman 85th anniversary line from Spin Master, and this line is kind of interesting because it looks like it's going to have different versions of Batman and various Batman characters from the movies. So this is the Dark Knight Batman. It's Christian Bale. Did a nice job with him. And we can see that the Joker figure that I have indeed is the Heath Ledger version of the Joker. Now, Spin Master didn't take over the license until after Justice League. I think Justice League was probably the last live action movie that Mattel made toys for. It might have been Shazam, actually. Which one came out last? Was it Shazam or was it Justice League? I forget. Well, they did Aquaman too, so I guess Aquaman would be afterwards. So, but anyway, my point is that by the time that Spin Master started doing DC figures, they were kind of out of the Zack Snyder era and on into like the era of a bunch of movies that did not do very well. And the one that they did worst, they wound up putting that guy in charge of DC movies for some reason. So the one that made the least amount of money, they're like, hey, you ought to be running our studio, which is typical Warner Brothers smarts. But yeah, so it's nice to see them go back and do some of these older movies that Spin Master wasn't around for previously. And in fact, like this style of 12-inch figure, I believe they first started doing this with the New 52. A lot of the earliest figures are New 52 versions from the comics, and they didn't really start doing the cheapy 12-inch $10 figures. What I've heard some people call these shampoo bottle figures. They didn't start doing those until around the time of Batman v Superman for the live action movies. So we never got a chance to see any of the characters from the Christian Bale Batman movies in these formats. None of the Christopher Nolan trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, as they call it. Even though Dark Knight was the second movie, so shouldn't it be the Batman Begins trilogy because that was the first one? Nah. People just tend to forget that one now and just go straight to Dark Knight, which is unfortunate because Batman Begins is an awfully good movie. So you could say, yeah, the Dark Knight's probably a better movie, but it doesn't mean we have to ignore Batman Begins completely. So we've got like the comic book Batman logo on here in several places. Since this is just like an overall Batman line, and there's the DC logo that's about to become defunct because they're bringing back the Milton Glaser DC logo, which is probably the first smart thing that I've seen James Gunn do. Nice portrait of Christian Bale as Batman on the side. That's what the back looks like. Picture of the action figure. Got a little bit of cross-sell there for the Joker. So I'm guessing those are the only two figures that are available in this line so far. Got a cardboard insert here. We'll talk about this in a minute. But it's kind of similar to the McFarlane cardboard insert. Do I have one of those around here that's handy? No. But it's kind of similar to that in that it has artwork from the comics on there. And Batman has rubber bands around each of his biceps and each of his ankles, and the dreaded double rubber tab around the waist. All right, so now let's have a look at some of the artwork on this. And I've got to say, I think they did a good job picking out this artwork. And it'll be interesting to see if it's the same artwork on the Joker. It probably is. But first of all, we have one of my favorite comic book covers, Neil Adams' cover for the Joker's Five-Way Revenge. And then we have a early Golden Age Batman piece. Not sure what issue that's from, but it says Batman prepares to meet Dr. Death again. So I guess it's the second appearance of Dr. Death. These gas vials may be needed tonight. And then more, I'm guessing that's more from that page down there. We got Detective Comics number 27. We have some artwork from one of my favorite Batman comics of all time, the issue where Batman and Wildcat team up against the Joker. Lovely Jim Aparo artwork there. We see Batman and Wildcat about to fight each other with spiked boxing gloves. And the dialogue says, weighing in 190 or thereabouts, the masked manhunter, pride of Gotham City, the great Batman. And can't see his description of Wildcat, but then he has that. Basically, the Joker has a puppy that has a vaccine inside of it, and he's forcing Batman and Wildcat to fight each other, or he's going to kill the puppy. So it's got Batman, it's got Wildcat, it's got the Joker, it's got dogs. It's a crazy Bob Haney written story with Jim Aparo artwork. Of course, I love it. I can't quite tell what this is over here, but it looks to me like a New 52 panel. Just because of like what Batman's gauntlet looks like. It looks kind of like a New 52 Batman gauntlet. Same with this one up here. I can't quite tell what it is. Isn't quite enough on there for me. But maybe somebody who's a little more familiar with New 52 Batman comics might know. More Golden Age Batman artwork up here. So a lot of cool stuff. Mostly Bronze Age and Golden Age stuff. Even this right here, we can just see like a little bit of the text from the cover. But I'm guessing it's Detective Comics because it's a 75-cent comic from 1986. And it's 566. And Batman didn't reach 500 until the 90s. So that must be Detective Comics that was at 566. So that's interesting to go over. I think it's interesting anyway. Most of this package is black, but it does have like kind of a little bit of a Batman logo kind of thing going on in the background. It's not quite as interesting as it could be, but considering how it's like that kind of plasticless kind of packaging, it's more made to highlight the figure than anything else. But it does kind of remind me in a lot of ways, and I guess they probably took a lot of influence from the McFarlane packaging, where it's like, the packaging itself is kind of bland, but we're just showing off the figure. So anyway, speaking of the figure, I guess I should get to that. So here he is out of the package. We can see that he is mostly black plastic, unpainted black plastic, with obviously his face is painted in, and his belt is painted gold. And that does seem to be a piece of the. It's the same. It's the same piece as the torso. It's not like a separate belt piece like they sometimes do for these figures. Spin Master, I find, usually just has the belt as kind of part of the sculpt. And I notice also that this is really gummy here, but I got it loose. I managed to get him to move a little bit there. So this shoulder was kind of gumming up a little bit there. So it's a really good likeness of Christian Bale. Very accurate looking suit, I think. It captures a lot of the details. A lot of the times, like Mattel's figures, I felt were kind of guilty of this, is that this particular bat suit winds up looking kind of clunky in action figure form, because a lot of those details that, they look fine in the movie, but it just tends to kind of clutter up an action figure a lot of the times. But I don't think it's so bad here. I think they did a good job of keeping it kind of sleek and streamlined. but at the same time staying faithful to the details that are on the suit. You can see that in between the panels of armor, they did get kind of a fabric texture going on, so that's nice. Got a nice detail to the straps that hold his shoulder plates on. All right, so yeah, to me, this looks like a pretty accurate version of Christian Bale's Batman. Hopefully, they'll do a Batman Begins version later on, because I really like that suit, and I feel like that generally works better as an action figure anyway. So let's go ahead and go over his articulation. Batman can't look up very far, can't look down very far. I think that this head is just intended to rotate, and it does rotate all the way around. Batman, his arms rotate all the way around at the shoulders, and his shoulders, once I got it loosened up, move up about that far, so not too bad. He does have a single joint of articulation at the elbow, which bends up about that far, so not the best range of motion at the elbow, unfortunately. Bends down about that far, so it doesn't like quite straighten out into a full extension. It's really that elbow pad. It's kind of causing that. It kind of bumps into the upper part of the elbow back there, and his arm can only move forward about that far. So that's a little disappointing. It does rotate at the elbow, though, so that's good. The wrist should rotate all the way around. There we go. I will point out that the Robert Pattinson Batman is the only 12-inch Batman figure that I've had from Spin Master where you can't rotate the elbow, which is another reason why Robert Pattinson is the worst Batman, because he can't move his elbows. Oh, he could turn his head, but he can't turn his elbows. Okay. So there's no torso articulation on this guy whatsoever. You can't turn his waist. You can't pivot him. He's just like got a solid brick of a torso. That's typical for these 12-inch figures. For the most part, they don't have those. Some of the newer Spin Master figures do have that, but not this guy. His leg can kick up about that far, so not too bad. But it does kind of tend to splay out a little bit when you move them all the way up. So if you want to keep them together, that's about as far as they go. And then we have a single joint of articulation at the knee. Doesn't rotate, just a hinge, just like that. And he does have a hinge at the pelvis, so he can do the splits, no problem. So not bad articulation for a 12-inch figure of this type, but not the best that I've seen either. I think that they probably could have done a better job with his elbow articulation. But other than that, not too bad. Let's see. Do I have... here we go. Just as a fun aside, and because this does look kind of vaguely similar to Christian Bale's Batmobile, I actually have a Spin Master Batmobile that's made for 12-inch figures. I didn't do an unboxing video of it because it wasn't really like boxed per se. It was like on this, it did technically come in a box, but it was more sort of like this tray type contraption, and it was just kind of tied in there with some paper ropes. So I just cut it out, and this is you can still see them on the bottom. I didn't even bother to pull them out. And in fact, I think this one might be structurally integral to the hinge that covers the canopy. So it's not exactly the tumbler 100%, but you can see how there was a lot of influence of the tumbler on the design of this particular Batmobile. It does look slightly more comic booky. It's got like bat fins and things like that, but it looks like a tumbler. Anyway, so you're supposed to be able to open up this canopy, and there's not even really like a seat for Batman to sit in. It's like it's just kind of like the negative of the undercarriage, if that makes any sense. So you're supposed to be able to fit a 12-inch figure into this. So I figure, since I've got Christian Bale, we might as well try to put him in here. And he doesn't so much sit in there as he kind of lies in there. So technically, if a kid had this, they could put a 12-inch Batman figure in this and have him drive around in it. But let's be real, it's not like the most accurate depiction of a guy in a car. Like, where's the engine supposed to be in this thing? It's basically like a coffin with wheels on it. Now, I guess if you're a little kid and you've got like enough imagination, that this might be good enough for you, but it's the sort of thing that would have drove me nuts as a kid. I would have taken it way too literally. So anyway, that's that Batmobile. I did go ahead and go over that a little bit. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do for it yet. I bought it on Amazon because they had it on sale for like $11, and I figured, for $11, I might as well pick it up. So anyway, so the Christian Bale Batman figure, it's pretty good. I think they could have done a better job, like I said, with the articulation at the elbows. And, maybe if you were somebody who were so inclined, and I do this kind of thing from time to time myself, you maybe could like scrape a little bit out from like the upper part of the elbows here. I got from the line here, and that might give you a little more range of motion at the elbows. But not everybody's gonna be inclined to do that, and you really shouldn't have to be. Honestly, I think they probably just should have done a better job with the articulation at elbows. But it is a nice looking figure, especially for the price that you're paying for it. I mean, this ain't Hot Toys here, but for a $10 figure, it's not too bad, and kids should like it. Kids like playing with Batman figures. So they don't really even care what version of Batman it is. Maybe not Robert Pattinson, because most kids think that movie's boring. Most kids are right. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I should be back tomorrow to do the Joker. Like I said, I'm just going to have to force myself to, I don't care how tired I am. I'm going to go ahead and get these done this week because I've got so much stuff to go through. So I need to I don't think I'm even going to be able to get through all of this week. So probably what I'm going to do is I'll do the Joker figure, and then I'll do Big Boa, and then probably next week I'll do the Batman 66 figures. I'm still waiting on Alfred. I'll go ahead and show you the 66 figures I got. Oops, I don't want them to fall over. I'm still waiting on Alfred. So I kind of think, maybe it's for the best if I just do all 4 of them at once Alfred comes in. But here we can see the Bookworm, and there is Nightwing, and there's our Space Batman. So, but I'll probably get around to doing those next week. Let's see, is there anything else we can go over right now? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much everything to say about this guy. But you definitely get to recommend, especially since it's only like a $10 figure, and I think he'll look pretty cool on the shelf next to the Michael Keaton figure that I have from The Flash, and the Ben Affleck that I have from the old Mattel days. So, but Spin Master should probably do a Spin Master. Sorry, they should probably do a 12-inch Ben Affleck. I think that'd be really cool. So, and considering how nicely this one is sculpted and painted, I think it would probably wind up looking better than any of the Mattel ones. So, Spin Master's 12-inch figures, I think, are a little bit slightly higher quality than the Mattel ones. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. All the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure, and of course the character of Batman in general, specifically, the Christopher Nolan trilogy version, since that's the version that this is. But where do you think Christian Bale ranks in the pantheon of Batman characters? Is he like closer to the top for you or closer to the bottom? I know he tends to be kind of a more polarizing one. I think it's the voice that did it, because he did that really gravity voice. It sounded like he was out of breath. And I think people tend to more prefer the Kevin Conroy model. I know I'm more of a Kevin Conroy fan myself, but that's just me. As far as Batman voices go, Kevin Conroy's the dude that I think Batman should really sound like. But that's just me. Anyway, we will talk to you next time. Bye.